Hi everyone, welcome. I'm preparing to check in on my two oldest active systems. They're the ones that you see stacked one on top of the other over here. And technically, since they're my oldest active systems, they should really be occupying the far left end of the shelf over there, but we've got a couple little situations over there with some unfinished business, just trying to bait worms out of what I really consider to be finished castings over there. Here, we're still actively composting. It was 12 days ago when we last checked in on these guys. The feeding they got was coffee and worm chow, all foods that are intended to leave no leftovers. And today I was just going to give them worm chow, see how the material in there looks, possibly even consider doing away with the plastic coverings at this point. As you can see, paper coverings are pretty popular in all the rest of my systems, but here we've been continuing with the plastic bubble wrap, but that might be the next thing to go. So let's get these systems up on the bench and let's get to checking in on them. When these plastic covers come off, there's a chance that they just won't be coming back. So now would be a good time to make sure we don't have any stranded worms on these things. If we got stranded springtails, which we're going to have a lot of, I'm okay with that. Alright, lots of little itsy bitsy worms, really enjoying the moisture that sort of develops as condensation on these top covering plastics. The worms are very, very tiny, and it is easy to miss them. Maybe this would be a good time to just take a break and make sure I've inspected the other one as well before setting it aside, just to make sure we don't leave any wormies stranded. And also at the same time not waste too much of your time. Alright, well, unless on that close-up with the camera we caught something, or if I'm still able to spot anything, then we'll tend to it, but I'm treating this as a depopulated sheet of bubble wrap. It is true that once the worms get moving that have been left on this thing, they'll probably be a little bit more visible, and perhaps the reason I'm not seeing any stranded little wormies is because they're under a little pocket of material, but that's okay. We'll deal with them shortly. Let's get into this. The material out on the surface everywhere looks so nice. Worms have been just cruising the surface, most likely for the moisture collecting on the bubble wrap and leaving their castings out here. No feeding zone indicators, because the way we fed last time involved spreading the food throughout the material, using the check-in as almost like an excuse to simply aerate the material, bring some of the more damp stuff that's down low up to the surface, theoretically, creating little air pockets everywhere in the process, possibly aiding with some aeration to further loosen the stuff up, let it get a little bit more crumbly. You could see the stuff is still a little bit damp, a little bit tending to clump together, but not too bad. I believe it probably was a little bit more so last time we checked in. So I think we're doing pretty good, but I was just thinking ahead a little bit in terms of how to apply today's food. I think last time too, we kind of just spread it across the top surface and then we proceeded to the blending. So here I just may have jumped the gun a little bit, because perhaps it would have made more sense to spread this stuff out and then just blend it in, but better late than never. I still like the idea. This system number one over here will just receive a little bit of bonus blending. But we'll get over to blending bin number two too. And I don't know, I just feel like maybe go a little bit more generous with this stuff. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna run out soon. Maybe I'll leave that itsy bitsy bit just in case I have some sort of a bright idea and I need a little bit at least. I don't want to tap out entirely, but what's left there is clearly an indication it's time to make some more worm chow. Okay. Yeah, it's nice. The material feels good. I'm even questioning whether switching to paper coverings at this point would be a good idea. It almost feels like just by not providing moisture to the system in the feedings, the material seems to be loosening up a little bit. But you know what? I think we are going to switch over to paper coverings, which I don't have prepared and ready to go. It's just one of those things that's going to turn into like homework for me after this check-in is complete. I'll take care of fashioning a couple replacement top coverings for these systems out of newspaper, and that'll definitely allow for some drying. The material out on the top surface will probably become dry and won't greet us the way it did here, where we found lots and lots of castings left out on the surface. The worms will more likely be down within the material, trying to get away from the material on the surface that's kind of turning dry and a little bit uncomfortable to be in. So, what's this? Some sort of little chunk of something. Don't know what that was. I mean, here too, this looks like the skin of some cantaloupe melon. There's little bits and pieces of leftover foods in these systems, so they're not relying so heavily on what I'm giving them today. It's just, as long as I'm checking in, I figure just give them some more stuff, let them continue to contribute to the processing of waste materials here in my home. But yeah, this is probably going to be one of their last, if not their last, feeding. We're going to start into drying with newspaper coverings, and chances are 12 days from now we'll be back in here to see how they're doing. And I don't know, it does seem like at day 300 it would be a prime time to shift these systems over to migration. Perhaps this will just be a little period of foraging, let them continue nipping off stuff that's remaining in the systems as leftovers, allow for some drying, and then perhaps the next time we get back into these systems we can start thinking about migrating the worms out of their lovely castings. So my homework is to get paper coverings here and put things away, get things cleaned up. That stuff's boring. I'm not going to keep you around for that. Before I go really quick, let me just say thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, as always, please don't forget to leave me a quick thumbs up before you go. That's always really appreciated. If you haven't done so already, please also consider subscribing to the channel. That's very much appreciated as well. All right, everyone. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye now.